General rules of thumb can sometimes be really helpful, like save 15% or more of your income for retirement. Hey, it's better than saving nothing. At least you'll have something in your retirement savings for retirement. However, there are 3 retirement rules of thumb that, in my opinion, you should stop following because they could potentially ruin the retirement that you had planned on. They could cost you thousands of dollars in taxes, or it could impact the amount of retirement savings that you might have for your future. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 retirement rules of thumb that you should, in my opinion, stop following or stay away from. What could happen if you do follow those rules of thumb? And then last, we're going to talk about what to do instead. So rule number 1 that in my opinion you should stop following or stay away from would be the 75% rule. What is that? Well, once you retire, that you would need 75% of your pre-retirement income for retirement. What does that mean? Well, if pre-retirement you're making $100,000 a year, it's saying in retirement you would need $75,000 a year to maintain your lifestyle. Well, what if you follow this rule and it goes wrong? For example, what if in this example that I'm giving you here, instead you needed $90,000 a month? As you can see, that math isn't working. Your expenses are more than what you planned on with this 75% rule. And retirement is all about cash flow. It's all about cash flow. So if you have those expenses wrong up front, meaning they're more than what you planned on, as you can imagine, you're either going to have to make some drastic cuts in your future, or worse yet, you could potentially run out of money. Now, a lot of times we see that people could need the same amount of pre-retirement income in their retirement, or sometimes even more. Why is that? Well, a lot of times people have been in their working years, working. Guess what? When they get to retirement, they want to start enjoying that money. They've planned up other activities, travel, things that they want to do while they're youngest and healthiest. And so they might up front need actually more than what the 75% rule would say. So what should we do instead of following the rule? Well, in this case, we actually need to do the work. We need to understand what your number is. What are your expenses? So put that together. How much do you actually need each and every month or each and every year to maintain your lifestyle? Then after that, don't forget to factor in travel, activities. You're probably going to need a new car in retirement. And then how about any sort of home renovations or home updates that you're going to need to make through your retirement as well? Don't forget to factor it all in. Oh, and then by the way, think about Medicare, think about taxes. All of that needs to get factored in. And once you have your number versus a general number, you're going to have a lot more, it's going to help give you a lot more confidence and clarity as you go into retirement. The second rule of thumb that we think you should stay away from would be that your taxes are going to be lower in retirement. Now, if you followed our channel at all, you know that we just, from a tax standpoint, we want you to pay what you legally have to, but not leave the IRS a tip. So where does this rule of thumb come from that your taxes will be lower in retirement? Well, in retirement, you'll no longer have your company paycheck coming in. So people think, gosh, if I'm getting paid today and I no longer have that company paycheck coming in, my taxes must be lower in retirement. Well, let me ask you a couple questions. One, based on all of the debt that we've assumed in our nation, where do you think tax rates might be going in your future? Question number 2, have you saved into a 401k, 403b, 457, or IRA? If so, guess what? None of that money has been taxed yet. And every dollar that you take out of those kinds of accounts, you're going to have to pay income tax on. Oh, and then in your 70s, you have to start taking the required minimum distributions. That's actually forced income, whether you like it or not, forced income that you have to take out of those accounts. So now in your future, you've got forced income that you have to take. Then because of that forced income, guess what? Most likely your Social Security becomes taxable. Maybe you have a pension coming in. Maybe you have some rental income coming in. You have to add all of that up. And next thing you know, your taxes in your future might be the same or higher than where you might be today. So What could go wrong if we follow this rule? What could go wrong is that if your taxable income's higher in the future than where you're at today, you're going to end up paying more taxes in your retirement than what you're paying today. So what should we do about this? Well, one of the things that you should do is put together a tax plan and a tax projection. Understand for each and every year of your life, making some assumptions about your future, where does your taxable income fall in your future versus where you're at today? Once you have that in place, some other things that you might want to then consider is where are you saving your money into? See, a lot of people, because of this rule of thumb, they're putting their money into their 401ks when maybe they should be putting their money into their Roth 401ks or their Roth IRAs or a brokerage account. So switching up where you save your money to. Maybe it's helpful to consider Roth conversions, maybe some charitable strategies like donor advised funds or qualified charitable distributions. So first off, that tax plan and tax projection. Second is implementing different tax strategies. Now, we have a free guide that you might find helpful. It is a free guide to unlocking hidden tax savings opportunities. You can get it at lifemoneyshow.com/taxes. All right, the third rule of thumb that, in my opinion, you should stay away from, stop following, is the rule of 100. What's the rule of 100? Well, you take 100 minus your age, and that's the amount of your investments that you should have at risk. For example, let's just say you're age 60. 100 minus 60, 40% of your investments should be in equities. The 60, your age, should be in fixed income. Well, what could go wrong if you follow this rule of thumb? Well, you could be too conservative and inflation outpaces you, and then will your money actually last as long as you will? And if inflation is outpacing you, guess what? Next thing you know, further down the road in your retirement, you're having to reduce your lifestyle because your money is not growing and outpacing inflation. Folks, in my opinion, this rule can actually become too conservative. So what should you do instead? Well, first off is have an income plan. The income plan is going to help tell you how much income you're going to need each and every year of your retirement life. Utilizing that income plan, you can now match that up with your investment strategy. So you've got enough on the growth side, the equity side, and then enough on the war chest side, fixed income, buffered assets, you name it. So hopefully that helps you understand. For investments, it's not actually going to be helpful to follow this general rule of thumb. In my opinion, it's going to make you too conservative. Instead, do the work, put together a plan, and have an investment strategy that matches it. Hey, I hope that you found all of this to be of value and benefit and helpful to your retirement future. If so, and you want to see additional videos on retirement topics like Social Security, reducing the taxes on your 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're coming out with new videos on topics just like those and other retirement topics each and every week.